What is up, everybody, and welcome back to the Draft Ranking Show. This is episode 2. It's Tuesday, and I'm Cody Carpentier. Welcome back. We're on our way, marching towards the 2025 NFL Draft. I appreciate you guys. Please click the like button. Please click subscribe if you are here on the Draft Rankings YouTube channel. If you're watching along, or if you're listening along on podcast, when we do get that published, please click that like button. Please leave 5-star review. Today's topic, again, the goal of this show is to keep it less than 10 minutes every single day of the week. Today's topic, I want to talk about the flat circle, the NFL draft being the flat circle. Alex Dunlap and I from rosterwatch.com like to discuss the flat circle, usually when the time comes around to April and everything starts to kind of go back to where it was. We're beginning to leave the starting line. Think about it as a clock. The starting line starts at noon or midnight when the day begins. You get to 3 o'clock. It's about February, 10th to 20th between the NFL Senior Bowl and the NFL Combine, Senior and Shrine Bowl, and the NFL Combine. After the Combine, you get about 6 o'clock, which is about halfway, and it's a complete mess because everybody's in Indianapolis, everybody's talking, and then you get to the pro days. And you're working your way back and everything's marinating. And that's when the general managers and the coaches and everybody's conversing in the big building and they're getting their consensus written down. And the NFL draft comes around. And that, my friends, is when the circle gets back to where it begun at midnight, right? The day begins at midnight and it ends at midnight. I know I did not fill out a complete 24 hours. There was 12 hours, but you get the point. You're getting right back to the top of the clock. And the flat circle is the NFL draft conversation for those that didn't follow the flat circle, beginning in a place where certain names are discussed in a certain area. And through the process, you're starting to see names fall. First and foremost, we'll go to Kelvin Banks, the offensive tackle from Texas. Kelvin Banks has been a star-studded player during his 3 years at Texas. All-American, 6'4", 320 pounds, started year number 1, up for all the awards, wins the Lombardi Award this year as the best offensive lineman, the Outland Trophy. And Banks's draft capital, or projected draft capital, we should say, has been consensus in the top 10. He's been consensus looked at as a top 10 first-round pick. He and Will Campbell. As of late, we're starting to see mock drafts putting Banks 27th, 20th, 11th, 25th, all over the back end of the first round. Now, what's part of that? Yes, I understand there's questions around Kelvin Banks, specifically about his arm length. They're not sure if he's going to have 33 or 34-inch arms. Could they potentially be 32 and a half? Maybe 33 if he's lucky. They need to, usually be north of 33 and a half, 34 inches. That's the goal. If Kelvin Banks has short arms, they want to move him into guard. It's hard for me to believe that a team may say, well, he was an all-world, as you can say, all-pro in college, but he was an all-world tackle. He's probably not going to translate it, right? We didn't just see this with Rashawn Slater. The worry a couple years ago was that he couldn't probably play tackle in the NFL. He's going to play guard. What's he done for the Chargers? He looked pretty damn good so far. Peter Skoronski, another name that was worried about his arm length and still went where the draft capital projected in round 1. Actually, a little bit earlier than was projected. The flat circle for Kelvin Banks is departed, and it's currently descending down. When you look at Kelvin Banks, the best or the peak of his apex, according to the NFL Mock Draft Database, was 5th overall. Currently, his ADP is sitting around the 10th spot, which is the Bears drafting at 10. But if you go look at his page and look where people have been drafting him, like I said, 23, 25, 27, consistently, it's outside the top 10. There's a couple of mock drafts that are plugging him into that top 10, the 6 to the Raiders, whatever it may be. I'm not here to tell you he's going to be a top 10 pick. What I'm telling you is don't get too over your skis in consensus on a lot of these offensive linemen or anybody that is kind of in that conversation. And remember, the flat circle exists. Will Campbell, for example, another name, the offensive tackle from LSU. People are saying, well, he should play inside. He should do this. He should do that. Again, consensus looked at as a top 10 pick. Cornerbacks, Will Johnson from Michigan, didn't have the best year, didn't play every game, looked at as a consensus top 10 talent in the class. And there's mocks putting him now, lately, outside the top 10, 15, 18, 22, 23. The talent of Will Johnson will not fall past outside the top 12. Every year we know and we hear that there is a consensus in the NFL of usually between like, it changes every year what we hear, but between 12 and 14 and potentially 17, 18, somewhere in that range of true first round grades. The three names I just listed, Will Johnson, the cornerback from Michigan, Kelvin Banks, the tackle from Texas, and Will Campbell, the tackle from LSU, are three guys I would venture to bet will all three have first round grades in the 2025 NFL draft. The flat circle of the NFL draft is beginning to push these three players down. For what reason? I just explained. Will Johnson didn't play the full season, was a bit banged up. A couple other corners are getting the juice. Jahdae Barron from Texas, recently mocked number 5 overall to the Jacksonville Jaguars by NFL.com. Again, part of the flat circle. A lot of juice has been going the way of Jahdae Barron as of late, the Thorpe Award winner from Texas. Is he due a top 5 overall pick? No, he's not due that. Like, that's not I should say he's not due that. He had a great season. Very talented player. That's not rational in the current state. That's not rational to believe that Jahdae will be the 5th overall pick unless he goes out and he would really have to have a great combine, a great pro day, a great process for this to happen. It'd be some galaxy brain mock drafting. Just remember the flat circle of where things have been the last 3 weeks, predominantly kind of like the week before the Shrine Bowl and the Senior Bowl, and kind of before that, and then up until about right now, things are starting to go haywire. We're leaving the flat circle. We're heading towards 3:00, and things are going to get shaky from here on out. You're going to see plenty of names shoot up. You're going to see plenty of names fall out of round 1 completely. I mean, I know players have lost draft capital during this draft stock during the season, projected stock during the season. Guys like James Pearce, along with that, the edge from Tennessee. I know edge is a very different conversation in the draft. You get the Trayvon Walker types after the combine where you get the lengths, the heights, the weights, the speed and stuff. Shemar Stewart, he hasn't gotten the apex yet. He's still projected right now 18th overall. It's his peak. He's been rising, though. He had a great Senior Bowl, but again, the stats this season, 1.5 sacks, 1.5 sacks, year after year after year. He's seen his stock climb from November, where he was 40th, all the way up to 20th in December, dropped back down to 25 in January, and now he's all the way back up to 18. That's going to continue to climb. It's probably about right where it is right now. He should go somewhere between that. Like I said before, the first round grades, he's going to be fringe, 14 to 20. That's probably where he belongs, but I bet you'll hear a lot of top 10 picks. This is the Draft Ranking Show. We'll be back on Wednesday morning. I'm Cody Carpentier. I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. Click that like button, click subscribe, and remember, keep in mind the flat circle of the NFL draft this year.